Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times David Attenborough was a legend.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at the memorable moments that helped turn the famous naturalist into a national treasure. Number 10. Braving the wrath of the capercaillie. Part of David Attenborough's charm is his genuine affinity with and liking of the animals he meets.
And the best, in the end, is claimed by the most powerful male, who will defend it against any intruder.
Most of us would run a mile from an aggressive capercaillie bird, but not Attenborough. He's not scared to get into scrapes, and even when a subject physically knocks him down, as in this clip, he simply laughs it off and continues, undeterred.
No doubt.
A good sense of humour and a lightness of touch keep his documentaries grounded and interesting, and the animals respond to it too.
Boo!
From sloths to cheetahs to cynical human beings, the Attenborough effect wins us all over in the end. Number 9. Encounter with a blue whale. Attenborough has been exploring the marvels of the natural world for decades now, but he never loses his sense of wonder.
And it's coming up! It's coming up!
In this legendary encounter with a blue whale, the presenter is clearly delighted to have a front row seat. It's not often that this spectacular creature is captured on film, and this rare sighting must have been thrilling for everyone involved.
Only in the sea can you get such huge size as that magnificent creature.
However, as the world's largest mammal surfaces in plain view, Attenborough remains professional, despite his excitement. He doesn't lose focus and continues to bring us the facts.
And as it tilts its 100-ton body downwards, so it can plunge to the black world 500 feet or more below the surface.
Its extraordinary footage made all the more magical by the naturalist's infectious enthusiasm. Number 8. Meeting Barack Obama. The natural history broadcaster has met many public figures over the course of his long career. Whether he's hobnobbing with guests on the Graham Norton Show or strolling in the palace gardens with Queen Elizabeth II, he can make any situation feel like his natural habitat.
I was going to say, a sundial neatly planted in the shade.
Isn't it good? Yes.
However, Attenborough's primary goal with every public appearance is to draw attention to his work and encourage viewers to take an interest in the natural world.
Sir David Attenborough, thank you so much for being here. As I was telling you in our walk over, I have been a huge admirer of your work for a very long time.
In 2015, he was invited to the White House by President Barack Obama. The two men discussed ways to tackle the climate emergency. They expressed their optimism for the planet's future and their faith in future generations to make positive change.
And the rising in temperature, global temperature, is a very, very serious worry indeed.
Number 7. Sir David with the chimps. Humans share almost 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees, but they can still be frightening creatures.
And now they're part of a unique experiment in which they're being taught the skills that they will need in order that they may survive by themselves in the wild.
Nevertheless, Sir David Attenborough appears supremely relaxed when mixing with our closest animal relative. In this clip from The Life of Mammals, Attenborough travels up the river to observe an orphaned group of Borneo chimps. They're being prepared for their return to the wild, and they're used to humans.
Mind your fingers.
But have they ever met a Homo sapien quite like this one? Sitting with the primates as they attempt to crack nuts, Attenborough feels like one of the gang.
And so different groups of chimps have developed different ways of dealing with the problem.
His interactions with the chimps are gentle, friendly, and encouraging, and they seem at ease in his presence. Number 6. Calling to the wolf pack. In order to assimilate with the animals he meets, David Attenborough often employs a form of mimicry, aping his subjects' body language or the noises they make. The naturalist never looks self-conscious and he takes these communications seriously. He's trying to connect with the animals in the most authentic way he can. In The Life of Mammals, Attenborough explored the lives and behaviours of many different species, but the most memorable moment involved a pack of wild mountain wolves. Calling out into the snowy wilderness, he mimics a wolf's howl. Amazingly, his call is answered by the pack. It's a real goosebump moment and just very cool. Number 5. Shaking hands with the cannibals.
This was our destination, the place in which we planned to work for the next few months.
David Attenborough has now been making BBC wildlife programmes for over 70 years. On his travels, he's lived and worked with interesting people from all walks of life. While shooting Zoo Quest in 1957, Attenborough explored the wilds of Papua New Guinea with the help of a local tribe.
It was hard walking, but when we reached the top of the ridge that formed the wall of the valley, we ran into trouble.
The tribespeople took Attenborough and the cameramen deep into uncharted territory. However, they would not go beyond the bounds of their own frontier, thanks to a fierce enemy tribe who they described as cannibals.
And I simply couldn't think of what to do except to go towards them and stick out my hand and said, "Good afternoon." And to my astonishment, they seized my hand, pumped it up and down, said, "Good afternoon, good afternoon."
When said tribe appeared out of nowhere, things didn't look too good for the young Attenborough, but he handled the situation like a pro. Number 4. Talking with a blind baby rhino.
He starts to squeak, and we're able to have a little chat.
In the final episode of Sir David's mini-series focusing on African wildlife, we meet a blind baby rhino who's so vulnerable that she has to be cared for around the clock. Attenborough once again demonstrates his legendary way with animals, getting down on the little rhino's level and holding a friendly conversation. The rhino starts squeaking just as the crew are about to leave, and Attenborough can't ignore the cry for attention. It should look silly, but in fact it's a beautifully touching moment, as is his closing speech about the plight of Africa's endangered species. Number 3. When David met Greta.
Hi,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. It's an honor to meet you.
In the discussion around climate change, David Attenborough has long been a voice of reason, warning us of the dangers of inaction and the impact that humans are having on our world. For young people today, it's easy to feel disheartened by the state of things. Even with passionate new voices joining the debate, it can seem like we're fighting a losing battle.
And there just could be a change in moral attitude from people worldwide, politicians worldwide, to see that self-interest is for the past, common interest is for the future.
In this moving interview with environmental activist Greta Thunberg, Attenborough is kind and encouraging without being patronising. It's a meeting of two people from very different generations who genuinely care about the planet and are actually doing something about it. When Thunberg looks as if she's beginning to lose hope, Attenborough's praise and optimism remind her of the reasons to keep going.
I've been bleating about this for a long time, but the big changes came when you spoke. And that's brought hope.
Number 2. A moment with the baby gorillas. David Attenborough's most iconic TV moment is undoubtedly the memorable occasion when he met those baby mountain gorillas.
There is more meaning and mutual understanding in exchanging a glance with a gorilla than any other animal I know.
The laughing presenter, sprawled out in the grass with the playful young primates, made a lovely little tableau. For the viewers at home, it was a heartwarming TV highlight. For Attenborough himself, it's a magical moment he'd remember all his life. At the time, it was feared that the mountain gorilla may soon become extinct, and the future was uncertain for the infants seen in this clip.
Sometimes they even allow others to join in.
The good news is, that thanks to the efforts of conservationists, things have actually changed for the better. The gorilla population in the area is flourishing. Number 1. Calling for action on climate change.
The global temperature has not wavered over this period by more than plus or minus 1 degree Celsius. Until now.
David Attenborough's documentaries have been an endless source of enjoyment for many people around the globe. However, as the years go by, his warnings concerning the natural world are becoming more urgent.
Ultimately, all of us will feel the impact, some of which are now unavoidable.
Many of his documentaries end with a powerful closing statement, which serves as a plea for us to sit up and take notice before it's too late. In 2021, Attenborough addressed the world leaders at the United Nations Climate Change Conference. His speech was frightening, but ultimately hopeful.
Perhaps the fact that the people most affected by climate change are no longer some imagined future generation, but young people alive today, perhaps that will give us the impetus we need to rewrite our story.
It outlined the terrible damage that has been done, but also stressed that it's well within our power to fix it. Even in his 90s, this legend is still fighting to leave behind a better world for future generations, and we love him for it.
In my lifetime, I've witnessed a terrible decline. In yours, you could and should witness a wonderful recovery.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.